Talk back.
Gardening Talk Back.
So that means we need to hear from you with the questions, because the man with all the answers, no pressure. And it's so good to see you.
Thanks, Scott. Great to see you too.
How have you been?
I've been fantastic, actually. It's amongst a little bit of rain we've had some beautiful sunny weather and excellent temperature outside. So it doesn't get much better than that.
So give us some thoughts.
Right. Well, for starters, pear trees. Yeah. I'm a big fan of the ornamental pears, but I'm a bigger fan of edible. As everyone knows, I love my food and being a former chef.
Yeah.
But pear trees, they just don't do too well in our area because we don't get that heavy frost. You find areas where people say, "Oh, but I live here, Evan," and you know they're doing exceptionally well, but you'll still only get
different kind of snake beans. One has brown seeds and one has black seeds, and I have been searching for a long time for snake beans like my father grew back in the 50s, and they were very long. And I wondered if the type that he's talking about, like my father had, or whether they're just like the ones I've got.
Yeah, no. Well, that's another great question, Florence. Now you'll find that the old-fashioned ones, they're the black seed varieties. Having them in a position where they can hang beautifully with a good amount of sunshine, that'll.
But they're completely different to what my dad grew, and I can distinctly remember. I can even remember the taste, and they're a lot nicer than these ones.
Well, there are actually websites dedicated to heirloom variety seeds. So there's a really good one. I'm not sure how much we're allowed to promote businesses on ABC Radio, but there's a really good one that they specifically deal with heirloom varieties that you can buy the seeds and they arrive to your door, and they're really good. And they'll also have a descriptor of what sort of age timeline the seeds originated from. So that's a really good place to go to.
Maybe we can tell Florence off it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
With the ones that you're talking about, they're only about like a foot long in the old money.
I've managed to get some growing to about I'd say a good 14 inches. Yeah. So just over a foot.
I'd sent to the seed savers up near Taree, and I've got the brown seed one and the black seed one, which are the same, you know, but the ones my dad had were completely different to those, and they were very long. They were nearly 3 foot long, I think. I can still remember them, and they tasted different. I like a lot better.
A really good suggestion is to head to the local Asian supermarket and look for the long snake beans, because they still grow them, and you should be able to harvest some of the seeds out of those ones, as long as they haven't been stored too long inside the fruit, and dry them out and use them for the next season.
Yes, that would be good.
Let us know how you go with that, Florence, and whether you grow something that reminds you of what your dad grew. That'd be fascinating.
They taste different. They're very nice.
You're going to have to cook some for us. Lovely to hear from you, and you have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you later. She paints amazing works on cups and saucers.
I've heard of Florence, yeah.
She's fantastic. This one's got a photo attachment, so come around and have a look. We really need somewhere else so our experts can look at photos. The plant was left outside while on holidays. This plant normally lives in our bathroom. Writes this person here, Leanne in Beresfield. Do we need to remove the damaged leaves, or will it get better on its own? Leanne asks.
Okay, that is a really good question. A lot of people are in the same boat with this one. Now, what has happened is because the plants lived happily indoors for so long, and then when everyone go away, you know, they'll send their plants outside to let Mother Nature do some work for them. This is something that I do see very often. Now, those leaves won't get better, but they shouldn't get worse. You'll find that they'll, because what I'm looking at is moisture on the leaf when the heat of the sun kicks in. So where we've had some rain and then all of a sudden out comes the really hot steamy sun, that's a very big result of that. So water droplets on the leaf causing burn holes like that. Yeah.
What is the plant, by the way?
It looked like a Diffenbeckia, actually. It's
what's the common name for that, do you know?
It's called the dumb cane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
let's go with the Latin name then.
I prefer the Latin name because you don't want to be buying a plant called the dumb cane because you think oh, maybe I'm a bit dumb by not being able to look after it, but that's not true at all. It's I couldn't tell you how it got its name, but the Diffenbeckia, they're just a beautiful indoor plant, indoor or even outdoor shady area, protected area. They're just a beautiful plant. They come in a range of colour in the leaf as well. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
Very quickly, before we're coming up to the news in 90 seconds, following up from our potato question. A text in, no name, but we can presume this person is a Sydney sider because they're asking, when is it best to plant potatoes in Sydney?
Exactly the same as here. We all live in a temperate zone. So yeah, you'll be looking at July. July being a good one. If you're really inland Sydney where it's a bit cooler, say even as far out as say the Blue Mountains or something like that, then you'd be going a fraction bit later. But because we're temperate, and Sydney as well, the main part of Sydney classed as a temperate zone, you're looking at July as well. So we can plant together. Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
More things that link Newcastle and the Hunter with Sydney.
Exactly right.
Beautiful. And I presume that person is listening via the ABC Listen app. Thank you for wherever you are listening in Sydney. Much appreciated.